Hey guys, it's Holly. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm kind of doing a bit of a random video today. I'm just kind of updating you guys on my life, how everything's going, kind of where I'm headed and that kind of thing. Just because I thought, why not? This would be a great idea for today's video. So as you can see, I'm in a new space and I am living in a new apartment right now. This is actually like the third apartment I've had in the last year. Of course, they've been short-term leases, but long story short, I've lived in this apartment complex before a couple of times. This is my third time here, and I'm planning on staying here pretty much indefinitely at this point. Sorry, my hair's a mess. So, I have been here for probably like maybe a week and a half so far, and so my family lives about 40 minutes away from here, so they're not super close. But I wanted to come back here and I wanted to live in this particular area and I wanted to live in this particular apartment complex. So here I am, this is what I'm doing, and I'm getting a really great deal here. It's also a very safe area and a lot of the bills are included in the rent. So it's just kind of an overall, it's a good thing for me. Plus, it's a short-term lease, and though I plan on staying a long time, that's always something to be thankful for. So aside from moving, which was a major hassle, goodness, it probably took me a good 3 weeks to get like completely moved in and actually like start staying here. So I was able to get as much help as I could, but I was still lacking to an extent. So the biggest thing was I was able to hire some movers, and that was so amazing. I highly recommend if you're moving, unless you don't have a whole lot of stuff, I highly recommend hiring a moving company, and the one that I hired also gave me an extremely good deal. I was very happy. It was very quick and easy. So unfortunately, there are still a whole lot of other details you have to figure out besides just the physical moving of your things, but it does take a huge load off of your shoulders. So the kids are adjusting to the new place as well, so that has been a little bit difficult. And we've had so much going on over the past couple months, and just I've been really trying to balance everything, and being a single parent, it gets so difficult. And I've mentioned before, I haven't talked about it a whole lot, but I don't have a ton of family support. I don't have hardly any from like any kind of extended family whatsoever, and my immediate family is very little. And the support that I do get is kind of like expected that I have to give something in return. So, and that's not, has nothing to do with my siblings. They don't, it's not their fault. They are just too busy, and one of them doesn't even live in the area. One of them lives quite far away. So definitely I don't blame my siblings, but it's just kind of a long story. But to make a long story short, I don't have the support that I really need in my life at this point in terms of family. And to be honest though, I never really have since becoming a parent in the first place. So that's just kind of something that I have to deal with, and it comes and goes in these waves of difficulty, and these waves of like, okay, I'm going through this right now, so this is super hard, and I'm just gonna have to get through it to get over that hump until I'm like kind of okay again. So it's just one of those things, and that is one thing that I struggle with and I do battle with, is that lack of family support. However, I do have a couple of really amazing friends, and I have at least several other friends that have offered me a lot of help and continue to do so whenever they are able, which is super helpful. And by help, I haven't been having any financial difficulties. I've been doing really well financially, but I have definitely had issues in terms of more of like just needing help with things physically, needing help with the kids, needing help with moving, for example, and just little things that we take for granted when we're not single. Little things like, hey, could you run my car up to get the oil changed, or could you go pick up this from the store, or anything at all. Being a single parent, it can be very difficult because there's nobody there to ask, like, can you hand me that box over there, like, you know. So that is just one of those things. So I'm also kind of sort of getting ready to date again at this point, and I'm a little bit excited about it. I do have a lot going on in my life, but I honestly feel that at this point in time, we all have a lot going on in our lives, and I think you just have to look down deep within inside yourself and ask yourself, you know, do I truly want to be single and stay alone, which is totally fine. But you kind of have to ask yourself, okay, at what point do I want to start putting myself out there and maybe seeing someone again? Because the thing is we can't assume that everybody is going to be the same, and we cannot assume that just because we have a lot going on in our lives and we feel like nobody else could really, you know, deal with it, so to speak, that doesn't mean that there's not somebody out there that would be perfectly happy to come alongside you and be accepting of you and where you're at. Someone that's going to meet you where you're at in your life. So the last person I was interested in fairly recently, things just did not work out the way I had wanted them to, the way that I was hoping that they would. Things just didn't get very far, but sometimes that will happen, and that is just part of life. And I think it's just frustrating for me because anytime I put any kind of time and energy into, you know, talking to someone, getting to know someone, and then like just things just don't pan out, you know, whether it's weeks, whether it's months, whether it's even days, is very upsetting to me because as a single parent, your time is just so valuable. I just can't even, like, there's nothing more time consuming than being a single parent. And so whenever you're putting forth that effort, even if it's on a subconscious level, it feels like loss. It feels like a blow, like a huge blow, whenever, you know, things don't work out romantically the way that you would have hoped or liked. And so that is another thing. But I am happy to be where I'm at in terms of, you know, getting settled in to my new living situation, really loving it, really happy with where I'm at in terms of that. And other than that, just experiencing some issues with my oldest son. He has ADHD and he has anxiety and some things, so we are working through that. And that has been quite a deal lately. It's been huge because we have been going through a lot of changes as a family, and he has been going through changes on some different levels as well in his life. And so that is another thing we are dealing with. So right now, I kind of just have like 99 problems, and it wouldn't be the first time because life is always going to be seasonal. We're always going to have seasons where we are struggling, and then we're going to have great seasons where there's just not a whole lot going on. Things are uneventful, and then we're going to have seasons where things are just going so well and everything is so eventful. And as a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, I was kind of in that space of everything was just so great and things were just like too great. There was too much going on in a good way. And so now, on the other hand, I'm dealing with things too much going on in a bad way and too much to cope with on this level in a negative way. So life is definitely a balancing act, and as a single parent especially, there are just going to be those times when you feel so overwhelmed. And I know for me especially, that is how it has been lately. But ultimately, I am happy, and I feel very fortunate to be able to experience the things that I have been experiencing, the good and the bad. And I feel like, you know, being able to like weed through the things in your life that are toxic to you that you don't need, being able to weed through the people, you know, that you don't need in your life. And I think sometimes you also have to understand that if someone chooses, you know, not to talk to us or not to be around us, you know, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with anybody else, or with, especially with yourself. So it has something to do with the other person, and, you know, it could be anything. It could be whatever they're looking for in their life is something completely different. Whatever it is that they're needing, it could be a battle within themselves, it could be a fear, they could get scared, and it could be so many different things. So I think it's always super important to consider that, you know, whether it's a friend or whether it's more of like a romantic type interaction, that we don't have to blame ourselves and we don't have to feel like, oh, I must be the problem or what did I do wrong? Because at the end of the day, you probably didn't do anything wrong. And we are our own people, our own human beings. And so we're each going to have something completely different that we want out of life. Some people are also going to be more flaky than others, and depending on life experience. So this is where I'm at right now. And it has been difficult. I've also developed IBS, unfortunately, irritable bowel syndrome, from just the stress that I have been going through recently. But I feel like, all things considered, I have been handling things very well, and I will continue to see myself in that light positively. And life is just not easy, and I do also believe that life is just harder for some people, and I do think I'm one of those people. But do I think that it's something that just continues throughout your whole entire life consistently? No. I just think there are certain trials that certain people are selected to go through, and I also believe that we select these battles in a premeditated fashion. I do believe that we select to an extent, what we are going to go through in this life. And so when I look back at all of the things I've been through and all of the things that I have conquered and accomplished, I couldn't be any more proud. I just couldn't. And that's about it. So yeah, guys, new apartment, loving it, plan to stay here indefinitely. Having some problems on the home front as far as just seeking out more support, which I'm definitely gonna have to get to work figuring out what I can do in terms of making things easier and making things better, and me not being so stressed out. I have developed some gut issues, unfortunately, from the recent stress, but I do believe it's short-lived, and I do believe that this will resolve itself. So I will be doing at least a video or two on irritable bowel syndrome, aka IBS, and talking some more about that, and also talking about the things I'm doing to manage it and hopefully get rid of it. So that's something we can definitely look forward to, videos in the future. I have a lot of really great ideas in mind, like I always do. Some short, some a little bit longer, and ultimately I am just thankful that I am where I am in my life, and even though things aren't perfect, even though I face these battles and these struggles, I always understand that life could be a lot worse. So with that being said, I just kind of wanted to touch base and let you guys know, kind of like what my video content is looking like in the near future, and definitely excited to film more videos inside this apartment as well as maybe outside, and just keep going day by day, taking it day by day. And yeah, that's about it. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow in our next one. Thanks for watching.